Killer Croc is a lot more complex as a character than most give him credit for, equal parts terrifying and tragic. He's the result of a tormented upbringing filled with intense abuse, ostracization, and subjugation from all those around him, including oftentimes members of his very own family. He despises humanity for what they have done to him throughout the years, but also anyone who sees value in human life in general, people like Batman. Though I don't condone the behavior of someone like Killer Croc, out of all the villains in the Caped Crusaders Rogues Gallery, his actions make some of the most sense and should come to no surprise. Killer Croc was born Waylon Jones. He had a rare genetic condition that caused his body to take on reptilian traits and become more crocodile in appearance over time. This medical condition resulted in the death of his mother during childbirth, and Waylon would be looked after by his alcoholic aunt. As a child, Jones had no friends and would be bullied and ridiculed by the other kids. When he grew older, he would travel the country as part of a sideshow carnival where he would wrestle alligators and break their spines with his bare hands to amuse the marks. However, he was always shortchanged by the promoters and knew he had to come up with another way to make money. Eventually, Waylon would turn to crime. It was revealed in Batman 358 that he had killed the crime lord Clement Carp, aka Squid, in an attempt to seize control of the Tobacconists Club once run by Rupert Thorne. To prove he wasn't just a freak to Gotham's biggest mobsters, like he had been forced to do so many times throughout his life, Croc would demonstrate his talents by infiltrating Star Labs to steal a high-tech Air Force computer. I love how he hitches a ride underneath the Colonel's car. When the man gets out, Croc grabs his leg around the ankle. I think if I felt something scaly grab me like that, I'd shit myself and cry like a baby. Within mere hours, Croc would get his hands on the computer and return it to the rich and powerful crooks at the Tobacconists Club. He managed to earn some of their respect and made it perfectly clear that if any of them played games with him, he wouldn't hesitate to snap them like twigs. He meant business. Using his strength and intimidation, Killer Croc would soon take over a sizable portion of Gotham's criminal underworld. He would come into conflict with Batman due to the growing trail of bodies he was leaving in his wake. He would falsely claim to have killed the Dark Knight in one of these encounters, telling his followers that by doing so, he had cemented himself as the new king of Gotham City. Fast forward to Nightfall, which I have done an extensive video review on. If you'd like more info on the story, newcomer Bane would free all of Arkham Asylum's maximum security prisoners in a strategic plan to weaken his target Batman. Piece by excruciating piece, Bane would face off against Killer Croc, seeing him as a test for his abilities before moving on to the main event. During their two fights, Bane was able to break both of Croc's arms with his bare hands. Immediately following Nightfall, there was a story called Prodigal. In it, Killer Croc had been surviving and healed up from his injuries sustained in his battle with Bane. He would viciously attack and kill several members of the Peretti crime family operating on the city's waterfront. He did it to re-establish himself as a crime boss and take out some frustrations on any who wronged him in the past. The rivalry between Killer Croc and Bane would carry itself into recent years during the Arkham War chapter of the Forever Evil crossover from the early 2010s. Gotham supervillains would battle for supremacy and control of the city. Inmates of Arkham Asylum, led by Scarecrow, would go to war against inmates of Blackgate Penitentiary, led by Bane. Croc would be seen leading Gotham's lower class in the sewers, forming an army of followers and protecting those who were mistreated and abandoned by the surface world above. He has a heart, but only when it comes to those like him. Killer Croc would team up with Scarecrow to ensure his sewers remained safe. The two would hide out in the partially destroyed Wayne Industries building. In order to instill fear into the Arkham inmates, who know crazy better than anyone, Bane would forge his own Batman armor and storm Wayne Industries to take his enemy out and seize command of the Court of Owl's undead talons. Croc is thrown off the building to his apparent death, and the Arkham inmates drink venom-laced wine to become muscle-bound versions of themselves to counter Bane and his forces. Shit gets absolutely insane. In the early decades of the Killer Croc character, he was a heavily built dude with a skin condition, scary looking, but still resembling a human being. As the years progressed, however, creators chose to evolve him into more of a reptilian monster. A virus injected into him by Hush would make him look and act more primal and reptilian. Later, while in police custody, Waylon would be treated by a doctor named Maria Beleza. She would develop romantic feelings for him and even manage to create somewhat of a cure for him that reverted Jones into a previous form. Unfortunately, the cure was only temporary, and Dr. Beleza would fall victim to Croc's out-of-control anger and hunger. There seems to be debate online over when Killer Croc as a character is at his best, when he's made more human or monstrous. A lot of times fans believe Croc to be adapted in a very surface-level way without his deeper strengths and intricacies. Croc's mobster and circus freak roots appear to be a distant memory at this point, in favor of turning him into a hulking reptile, akin to a lot of the modern-day depictions of the lizard from Spider-Man. Kinda boring. Honestly, I prefer both versions of the character when they are done right. If you want a more classic direction for him, watch Vendetta or Sideshow from Batman the Animated Series. If you want to see the more grotesque and violent side of this villain, you might want to experience the Batman Arkham video games, if you haven't before. Regardless of which interpretation of this character you enjoy, what remains the same is the inhumane treatment he has suffered, which fuels every single action he has ever committed. You could argue his attitude, aggression, even cannibalism were forced upon him and simply lines of defense against the hate being spewed at him by mankind. A lot of what makes up Killer Croc is sympathetic. He is what his environment made him. The sad truth is that as his health condition worsens, or is exacerbated by some outside catalyst, more and more of his humanity is lost. Keeping any of it alive would be an uphill battle for anyone, and in his case, it's kind of unwinnable. I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Supervillain Breakdown. Let me know your thoughts on Killer Croc down in the comments section below. Support the channel by liking this video, sharing it to your socials, and of course, subscribing for more content in the future. I will see you all in the next one. Take care and stay nerdy.